Yo, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Raxx City 314. Want to give a shout out to those nasty dogs, MC and Blackjack MC out of South Carolina, Nasty Dogs Nationwide. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really, really do appreciate it. This is your boy coming 4/17, 2020, year of our Lord, and we're gonna get this started. Trying to get all of my devices updated. If you didn't update your Apple devices, there has been a update that came out, so I suggest you go get that. It's 13. Seems to have dark mode and a couple other things, making it smoother to run. Um, Battery seems to perform a lot better as well. So if you have time, go ahead and do that while you're sleeping tonight. Everything should go well behind that. We're going to get right into the news today. All right. In New York, the coronavirus death count has jumped. The stories of patients who died at home. Pretty much, they were testing people and everything was going pretty well. But then as they were sending them home, those people were dying pretty much. These numbers, I don't know what's up. The numbers just seem to tell you that um, if you don't have the access to finding out this information, then you have no choice but to believe what's being told to you. So I'm gonna just tell you just to stay woke. Pay attention to everything that's going on because these things are driving people insane. People are developing fears and anxieties and stuff. So check on them, see how they're doing, and check on the elderly as well. Do everything you can to draw a little bit of ease to these people, and hopefully everything will pan out correctly. If not, you can always redirect them to these podcasts, which are on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and we can try to see what goes on from there. Because I'll try my best to do everything I can to keep you entertained, to keep you with information that just interesting information. I don't like to have BS podcasts that's just filled with junk. So everything's going to be informative for you. Okay. In the UN, millions of children are at risk of poverty and malnutrition due to the coronavirus. Millions of children around the world are endangered by this pandemic despite being a low risk age group to contract the COVID 19, the United Nations warned in a report released last week. The big picture: lack of schooling, poverty caused by loss of family income, malnourishment, I'm sorry, and risk of abuse while staying at home all pose dangers to children during the crisis. Now, I said this on other podcasts. We all have to get along and learn how to deal with each other while going through this virus. And pretty much, you parents, you got your kids at home. These kids, they're not used to seeing you all day. As much as you don't want to probably be around them, which is very, very sad, just imagine these kids can't go play with their friends, large groups of ideas and their faults and issues, and these kids are innocent. A lot of these kids don't want to be around that. They were just fine being around you for about 4 or 5 hours when they get home from school, and then they're asleep. Um, you know, cut them some slack. Cut these kids some slack, please. They don't need all that. All right, roughly 42 million of 66 million children could experience extreme poverty this year as a result of the pandemic, the UN estimates. Over 1.5 billion children and youth are currently out of school due to closures made in effect to slow the spread of the virus. Widespread malnutrition is expected as more than 350 million children who depend on school meals have to find food elsewhere. Think about that, those of you that are hoarding, making sure that there's nothing absolutely left for these other parents that are coming in trying to provide for their homes. Um, I've even heard cases where there are families who receive food stamp benefits and they're not even able because these kids need food. All right, they need food. They need water. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I used to go to the store every single month. Been doing it for about the past 9, 10 years, and I always get 4 cases of Aquafina water, the 32 pack, and I usually get this once a month, and I use that to because I don't drink fountain water. All right. I know you're probably thinking like, hey, maybe you should get a filtration system. I've thought about it, and I think I'm going to do that. But until this time, it's like that's just the water I like drinking, and it makes me upset when I go into the store. I got a 2 case limit, and it seems like everybody decided they want to start drinking Aquafina, which kind of pisses me off. But so that's why I tell certain people that, like, hey, when you go to the store, you notice they're stocking things a lot. I know you want to just hop online and say, hey, they stocked up this. But it's like, cut that out because what you're doing is you're putting it out there and people are just rushing in. They're going to the stores. Just their one family might have 5 people, everybody going in separately and getting 2 cases a piece or getting whatever they need to get a piece. And instead of them leaving and going home with what they're supposed to be taking with them, they're actually going home with, 2 times 6. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool. It's just not cool, guys. Let's change the narrative of this. Let's get our rations, and it's a difference if you have to go back another 2 days and go get some more. That's fine. Just try to look out for the next person in the community because you kind of essentially look like an asshole just doing this, taking all the resources up. It says a lot about you, about your community. All right. Uh, we're going to move right on to the next story, and that will be that we have COVID-19 devastating. It's a devastating toll on blacks and Latino Americans. Sorry, in one chart, U.S. health system has failed black and Latino populations for decades. Now they're paying the price. It's been clear for some time that the coronavirus pandemic is killing black and Latino Americans at disproportionately high rates. But new data from the last few days reveals how devastating the COVID-19 crisis has been for people of color. Starting in New York City, the American epicenter of the outbreak, black New Yorkers are dying at twice the rate of their white peers. Latinos in the city are also succumbing to the virus at a much higher rate than white or Asian New Yorkers. The same trends can be seen in infections and hospitalization rates too. It seems that black African Americans are like a 335.5 rate. The Hispanic Latinos at 271.6. Whites are at 190.4. Asians at 95.1. That's non-hospitalized. Then we have non-fatal hospitalized, and that's 271.7 for Black African Americans, 198.6 for Hispanic Latinos, 114.5 for white Americans, then 82.2 for Asian Americans. And for those who have known to have died, 92.3 for Black African Americans, 74.3 for Hispanic Latinos, 45.2 for white Americans, and 34.5 for the Asian community. So those numbers are definitely tilting the scale for the Black African Americans, and at the top, and then right behind Latino Americans. Very odd to me that the Asian community is very very low when the epicenter for the world has been in Wuhan, China. So that's something that we want to think about. Also, one other thing I want to say to my Asian community, if you can reach out to those people that are in China, uh, your your uh, um, your Asian community in China, please let them know to leave the Africans alone. Stop being racist because I already know where it's stemming from. It's coming from information that comes from the United States that black people are ignorant, um, brutal, you know, just it's a lot of rhetoric that comes from the United States that reaches over there, and they believe it. And it doesn't help when they can go online and see videos of people doing a lot of crazy. They also have to understand that over here, so this virus broke, well, slightly before the virus came here, we start seeing videos of people eating bats, live squids, all types of weird things. And when this virus hit, we all, like, hey, the Asian community, they eating bats and this, and that. So even your neighbors, Japan and Vietnamese people, different ones were even saying things about Chinese people that they eat virtually anything. They eat it raw. They don't cook it. They've even said things about you guys, and they're your neighbors. So we all get misconflicting information that comes from different sides to us, and we have no choice but to believe what we see opposed to what we hear. So seeing is believing, So it is what it is. I'm not saying that it's a one-sided thing because everyone has their faults. We just have to look through those faults and see the true genuosity in a person, in the people that we deal with. We have to know those people. We have to know our communities and know what product is in those communities. We have to know a person's substance and know what their makeup is, so that way we can better be of service to them, and in return they could be of better service to us. All right. Now, the Carnival executives of the Carnival cruise ship line um, pretty much knew they had a virus problem, but kept the party going. More than 1,500 people on the company's cruise ships have been diagnosed with COVID-19, and dozens have died. This is an article by Oscar Carr and Chris Palmieri. Um, Pretty much when it reached the Grand Princess early in March, on March 4th, barely registered at first. In a letter slipped under passenger cabin doors, Grant Tarling, Carnival Corporate's chief medical officer, announced that the U.S. Centers for Disease Control had begun investigating a small cluster of COVID-19 cases in California that might have been linked to the ship. 13 days after leaving San Francisco for Hawaii, the vessel would be skipping a scheduled stop in Mexico on its return voyage and sailing back early to its Bay Area port. The day passengers noticed new hand sanitizer stations and crew members wearing gloves, but life on the Grand Princess, which advertises 1,301 cabins, 20 restaurants and lounges, about a dozen shops, 4 freshwater swimming pools, otherwise went on as normal. Guests prepared for a ukulele concert, played bridge at shared tables, and took line dancing classes. That night, Lori Miller and her husband, John, attended True or Moo, a show featuring an MC in a cow costume. The following morning, John joined about 200 other passengers in the ship's Broadway style theater for a lecture on Clint Eastwood's movies. Uh, Basically, it was stated that they were surprised they were even letting this even happen. Um, they whispered to nearby friends that it was a big crowd. Around lunchtime, March 5th, the ship's captain announced the quarantine over the ship's public address system. All 2,422 passengers need to go to their cabins to shelter in place. So, man, imagine being on a cruise ship on vacation, and you're chilling, and then you're told you have to go back to your room to begin pretty much a quarantine um, inside of a room in a cruise ship. I mean, if that doesn't sound like if that doesn't sound like slavery, I don't know what it is. I honestly think that this virus coming around has turned people into slaves mentally, and you know, it's like a new age slavery. It's almost something that we have not seen before. We wasn't even expecting this to come like this. And I'm just throwing that out there. But it just seems like a unexpected new age type of slavery. Um, we definitely want to keep our spirits up, keep our minds right, and focused, because I believe this is designed to break people down mentally, whether it's a actual virus that has mutated on its own, man-made. I think most of us all know the root of this virus. But I think it came about at a weird time. It abruptly stopped a lot of things. I got to be serious because they shut the school system down. That's just not um, what anyone in the world wants to happen. This stops this stops careers from being developed. This stops people from being added to corporations to work those corporations. This has affected the money, how it flows. It has affected the way people spend money on things. Um, Government agencies are shut down. Offices are shut down. Departments are shut down. Jobs are lost. These are things that they do not want to see. They don't want to see this stuff going on. So we have no choice but to take this serious and try to make the best out of it. Those of you that are still working and moving about, I definitely take my hats off to you all. I think that you all are very essential to the world, to the community, to the fellow man, to everyone else that's around you. I just believe that you all are of service. So keep your heads up and stay focused and positive. All right. In other news, Gianna Bryant, Alyssa Altavelli, Peyton Chester selected as honorary picks at the WNBA draft. Um, at Friday's WNBA draft, these selections were made to be honored. Gianna's mother, Vanessa, posted a message on Instagram listing all three girls as the class of 2024. Gianna Bryant, um, and Alyssa Altabelli and Peyton Chester, who were among 9 killed in the January helicopter crash that also claimed the life of Kobe Bryant, named honorary selections in Friday's WNBA draft. Would have been a dream come true for her, Gianna's mother, Vanessa said. Kobe and Gigi love the WNBA. She also thanked the WNBA. She said she would like to congratulate all of this year's draft picks. Congratulations. They worked hard, they never settled, and they used the Mamba mentality. Um, if you want, I would tell you to go follow Vanessa Bryant. She has about 13.9 million followers on Instagram. You can find her just Vanessa Bryant. She's on there. Go check her out. Show her support. Send her a lot of love her way. No mother would be expecting to lose their daughter and husband all at the same time. As we do know, tragedies do happen every day in everyone else's lives, and some people have seen these things happen. Some people have seen their entire families go. One thing that made me think about that was the lady who lost her entire family on I want to say it's like a truck type boat. It goes from land to water. This happened like out in, I want to say it was the Ozarks or somewhere. It may have even been Branson, Missouri, but the lady lost her entire family in a boat. She was the only one that survived, but everyone else died, and it was a family trip. Quite a bit of people, but they were all out in dangerous weather when this happened. The weather did change while they were out there, but it turned very, very violent with the weather. So a lot of people understand how this feels and have experienced this. So it's very important that we understand that tragedy does happen and we all must keep each other in prayer at all times because, no one's going to turn down being prayed for. So we all need it. We definitely do. Now, Comic Con has been canceled due to coronavirus concerns. San Diego Comic Con has been canceled, the latest major cultural event to fall victim to concerns raised by COVID-19. The convention, which regularly draws more than 125,000 attendees, turning San Diego into the center of pop culture universe for 4 days each July, posted the announcement on its website. And they stated that for the first time in 50 years, the organization behind the event said they were announcing with deep regret that there will be no Comic Con in 2020. I know a lot of Comic Con, I want to say fans and people who really are into the anime scene and, different scenes. Shout out to the Gateway Blurs, uh, ran by Mr. Glenn Buford. Um, I'm kicking a shout out to them. Very cool group of people who are very in tune into manga and anime and things of that nature. Um, I know it's people that actually live for those moments, and for it to be taken away due to a virus, I know that it leaves a lot of people and a lot of those guys in a bad way going through that. So I'm definitely going to tell you all that just because it's a Comic Con, it doesn't mean that people aren't affected by it. That is some people's actual sport. You know, it's like a sport to them. So they actually look forward to it. They look forward to new episodes. They look forward to new shows. They look forward to new information, comics, characters. They're big into like the DC and the DC universe. Um, you know, they're big into a lot of these things, man, and it's just heartbreaking to see these things happen. Okay, and we want to definitely always think of everyone because someone is affected by this, like in some type of way. All right. Also, into some more sports news. WWE star Roman Reigns reveals he has a second set of twins on the way with his wife Galena. As you know, Roman Reigns, he has battled certain cancers throughout his life. It's the same cancer that he has went through, and pretty much he's beat it. I want to say twice. All right, and right now he is the father of three, and when those two kids come, he will then be a father of five. The babies on the way will join Reigns, whose real name is Joe Anoy. He's also the cousin to The Rock and the cousin to the Uso twins who wrestle in the WWE. Um, him and his wife, they tied the knot in December of 2014. And I mean, his wife is a very, very nice looking lady, very nice. Um, but I definitely want to tell you all that that is a blessing to have new life coming in. We want to wish Roman Reigns a lot of good, positive energy, even though, just bringing a kid into the world during this coronavirus time is a very, very risky thing. I want to urge all of you that if you can try to avoid that, try to avoid it because this virus does not have any eyes. It's blind. It's moving and bumping into things. It has no aid, no help on where it's to go, where it needs to go sit down. It's up and moving around. Like I say on every podcast, it is a equivalent to a $2 whore on Friday nights trying to ride the baloney pony all the way to Chinatown. So definitely, definitely understand that it's just not something that you should be thinking about right now. If you can avoid certain things, avoid them. Okay. Um, Kids just right now, I mean, they are a blessing. If God give them to you, it's a blessing. Just know that this is just not the time. I mean, if you care about your family, you get these kids, you're going to keep these babies in, all right? And you definitely don't want to be doing any back and forth and things like that because it definitely leaves kids vulnerable, okay? And sometimes that's something that you just can't stop, and that's a virus, right? I'm going to hit you all with some movies. I know we got some people who are sitting up watching Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, Disney Plus, um, you know, watching different avenues, YouTube movies. Um, we got some movies that are going to be hitting on demand uh, since the theaters have been closed down. They have been releasing the new releases online. You can go and rent the movies, or you can go and buy the movies. I think for like 19.99, you go and purchase the movie, and you can download it, and it's yours. So I've seen that for the first time with Bloodshot. It's a movie that has Vin Diesel, and I saw that the movie was being sold for $20, and I was like, hold on, this movie it's not even out yet. But then I saw that you could actually either rent it like you going to the movies, or you can buy it and it's just yours. And I thought that was so awesome. It kind of opens up the door for it actually opens up the door for more viewers to be able to see these movies. And I think that it should do well because if I'm guessing this correctly, it's going to cut down on piracy. You won't be able to go into the movies and actually go film that movie. Who would really probably want to watch the movie if someone bought it on their computer and then use something else to record it? It's like you if you know that you can get it for $20 and get the full clean version. It's a great copy. Yeah, it's yours. I think most people will just probably opt out to just spend the $20 and get the movie. It would be a smarter move, and then your whole family can sit at home and watch it. It's like, hey, you can have your whole group just there watching it. So, it's something to think about. I would tell you to definitely take a chance on it. Don't give up on it. Let's see where this goes. It might actually work out in our favor. You know what I'm saying? There's a movie out coming out called Abe. The synopsis is Abe is played by Stranger Things Noah Schnapp. This is the young man who um, on Stranger Things, his hair on his arms would come up when the Demogorgon would come around. He would know that something's going on. He had got kidnapped by the Demogorgon, and they had to go into that dimension or that realm and go retrieve him. But he's playing in this movie called Abe. It's a 12-year-old kid living in Brooklyn who fancies himself a foodie. When he sneaks away from his birthday party, he comes across a food festival and meets Chico, an Afro-Brazilian chef played by Sue Jorge, who eventually becomes his mentor. Um, you can go online and watch their trailer. Go check it out. Support the young man. Let's see where that movie goes. We also have another movie called Bad Therapy. It's a couple played by Alicia Silverstone and Rob Corddry. Decide to begin meeting with a new marriage counselor, Michelle Watkins, and discover that she's much more than they expected. It's also starring Michelle Watkins, um, Anne Pinioski, and Haley Joel Osment. They also have a trailer for that movie as well. Go check it out. This movie called The Quarry, based on a book of the same name by Damon Galgut. This thriller follows a fugitive who murders a traveling minister and assumes his identity. Michael Shannon plays local police chief who is suspicious of him. This is starring Shay Wingham, Michael Shannon, Catalina Sandino, Marino, Bobby Soto, and Bruno Bashar. They also have a trailer as well for that movie. It's another movie called Behind You. Two girls who just lost their mother are sent to their aunt's house until their father can come and pick them up. Unfortunately for them, their aunt is totally sinister. Her creepy house is filled with mirrors that may have a message inside of them. This movie stars Addie Miller, Elizabeth Berkner, Jane Broberg, Philip Brody, and Amy Lynn Chadwick. They also have a trailer for that movie as well. Go check it out. Now we also have a movie that is starring Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, Charlie Pye Jr., Michael Harding, and Brie Larson. This movie is called Just Mercy. It's based on a true story. Um, it's a powerful movie following a young lawyer named Brian Stevenson, that's played by Michael B. Jordan, who has just graduated from Harvard. Instead of taking a job that he's expected to, he moves to Alabama to defend the wrongly condemned. Um, Seems like that's going to be a good movie as well, especially with Jamie Foxx in there. Jamie Foxx won awards for playing Ray, and we think that I think he's a great actor. So I would definitely tell you check that movie out, see what it's about. It seems like it's going to be very informative and probably something that'll have you thinking like very, very strongly about those who have been wrongly convicted. So we definitely want to check that out, especially during this time. It's a lot of things going on with the legal system as well right now. So we want to make sure we're staying up on movies that keep you woke regarding those type of situations. Um, there's also one more movie. It's called Underwater. An earthquake hits the crew of oceanic researchers working for a deep sea drilling company, and they must fight to survive. This movie is starring Kristen Stewart, Vincent Castle, T.J. Miller, and Jessica Henwick. They also have a trailer for that movie as well. So I will definitely tell you be looking out for those movies because they definitely would be the type of movies that you need to also be kind of cautious and thinking about because we notice that a lot of things dealing with what's going on right now came about in movies. All right, so we definitely want to check out those movies as well. Now we're going to get to what we want to call the Takachi Award for the day, and this is going to be a tough one. All right. Now, I wanted to give the Takachi Award to the gentleman who let off some gunshots in the air for his for this guy in the neighborhood who got home from jail. He's popping a lot of shots off in the air, and his gun kept jamming. And when the guy who got released from jail started walking towards the other friends, this guy with the gun was behind them still. And he was pretty much trying to see why his gun was jamming, but there was still one in the chamber. It seemed like the way the gun was aimed, it was aimed slanted up. It went off, and it appears that the bullet hit the man in the back of the head and he immediately collapsed and people were trying to pick him up off the ground, but it seems like was a done deal. I want to give the award to him, but actually we are going to give the award to him, but we're also going to give the award to someone else as well because someone else deserves this award as well. They're doing entirely too much during this pandemic. So for the guy who shot his friend in the back of the head by accident with a jam gun. We're going to tell you that you were and are very, very stupid. The digital authorities definitely need to come and find you. And we need to make sure that that sound is attached to you because when you walk around, we need to know where you are because, well, we know where you are right now. Evidently, you're in jail. But we need to know who you are. So those type of sounds need to be attached to you, stitched into your skin with a speaker box blasting off because people need to know when you are coming around because you are a hazard to yourself and a hazard to other people and you're stupid. All right. And I'm not going to expand on you anymore because the more I think about this, the more I get very upset. All right. Now, the person who I also want to give this award to would be Orlando Brown. This is the guy who played in That's So Raven, the black guy who just does too much. He just he said that Will Smith was messing with him. They also saying that he could be Michael Jackson's secret son. He also claimed that Jamie Foxx is down low, says he's a notorious booty buster. Bent that ass over, he'll give you 3 million. Um, Orlando Brown is known for saying a lot of things to get attention. His girlfriend came, or baby mother, whatever she is, she came and said that please listen to his music because he's just trying to reach people the best way he knows. He's not a bad rapper. I mean, he actually can rap pretty good. But I think he's just going about getting the attention the wrong way. He could be telling the truth because we all know that in Hollywood there were a lot of pedophiles and down low people inside of there. So we don't know. Maybe he's releasing information that we all need to know, but we all don't really want to believe. But Orlando Brown, I'm definitely um, giving you the Takachi Award for the day because you have been doing this for a while now, and no one knows whether to believe you or not. But being that we're going through this coronavirus pandemic right now, you are definitely going to be sought out by the digital authorities. They need to find you. They need to figure out why your mouth keeps opening up, saying things that, you know, that nobody really cares about. If you're going to expose people, you at least need to be a creditable source. So that sound needs to accompany you as well, Orlando Brown, because we need to know before you start talking that that sound is going to play so that we know, hey, stupido retardo is about to talk again. Orlando Brown, I definitely want to let you know that you have a stupid face, you have a dumb head, and your voice sounds like a teacher using her nails to scratch down a chalkboard. And sometimes it's entertaining, but the rest of the times it's just plain annoying. So if you could, for the rest of us in the social media community, could you please shut your face? All right. They need to take all the garden gnomes in the world. They need to take about 2.5 years to build you the tallest dunce hat that they could find. They need to put you on a slingshot and shoot you all the way up to the let's say to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. They need to put you upside there. They need to take that dunce hat, put it on a, let's say, a flying pterodactyl. No, let's not go with a pterodactyl. We're going to go with something else. Let's say a spaceship. We're going to put it at the bottom of the spaceship, go high into the atmosphere, and drop it so it lands perfectly on top of your head. And we need to be able to see you wherever you are. So Orlando Brown, you definitely get the Takachi Award as well for today. So for Friday, those are the Friday Night Lights. Two Takachi Award members for the night. So thank you all for joining in on this podcast for today. Just so you all know, I was streaming on Facebook Live as well as YouTube in the YouTube studio. And we definitely appreciate you here at Raxx 314. We will definitely be progressing forward and moving into new realms with this podcast and reaching more audiences. All right. Thank you all who've been supporting me since day one. Your support will not go in vain because I will definitely keep doing what I have to do to bring you informative news and the things that you want to hear. This is your boy Raxx McCloud coming at you on this Friday, and I'm signing out. Yo, what's going on?